The dying light. 1,000 words. The cold came first, not the comfortable chill of a controlled environment, but the creeping, bone-deep cold that whispered of death. Administrator Kesthar felt it through his crystalline exoskeleton as he moved through the dimming corridors of Varath 9. The mining colony's lights flickered. Amber, then red, then darkness. Behind him, the main life support console screamed warnings in colors his species had evolved to fear. Oxygen at 32%. His deputy Vrel clicked nervously. Her antennae lay flat against her head, a Tharxian expression of terror. Temperature dropping 4 degrees every hour. The reactor cascade destroyed the primary and secondary systems. Kesthar's mandibles trembled. 847 souls. That's how many depended on him. Miners and engineers. Families, younglings in the deep hibernation chambers, their small bodies curled in crystal cocoons dreaming of warmth. Send the distress signal, he said quietly. Broad spectrum. Galactic emergency protocol. Vrel's claws hesitated over the controls. Administrator, we're in the outer marches. The nearest galactic rescue station is 13 days away. I know. Kesthar touched her shoulder gently. Send it anyway. The signal launched into the void, a desperate scream of light and mathematics carrying a simple message. We are dying. Please help. Hours passed like years. The colony grew colder. Kesthar watched his people huddled together in the central cavern, sharing body heat, sharing fear. The younglings' chambers were holding barely, but the adults were suffering. Tharxians could survive cold, but not this cold. Not without oxygen. Not for long, then the console chirped. Response! Vrel's voice cracked with hope. We have a response. Kesthar rushed to her station, his legs clicking rapidly against the frost-covered floor. The screen showed a trajectory line, a vessel designation, an ETA. 6 hours. Who? He breathed. Vrel's antennae shot upright in confusion. Designation, UHSF Nightingale. United Human Space Forces. The word sent a ripple through the gathered crowd. Humans. Kesthar felt his ventral plates tighten. He'd never met a human, but every species in the Galactic Council knew the stories. Apex predators from a death world. Forward-facing eyes, persistence hunters who could chase prey until it died of exhaustion. Their planet killed them constantly. Weather, bacteria, their own food, and they thrived anyway. The database classified them as Category 4 hazard, but there were other stories too. Whispered ones. Stories of humans who wept at funerals for enemies, who carved names into stone to remember their dead, who had a word, compassion, that didn't translate properly into any other language. They're responding, Vrel said, adjusting the frequency. A voice crackled through. Deep, steady female. Varath 9, this is Commander Elena Cross of the UHSF Nightingale. We've received your distress signal. We are 6 hours out and closing fast, hold on. We're coming for you. The voice was warm. That was the only word Kesthar could find. Warm like the sun they'd left behind. Warm like the reactor core before it failed. Commander Cross, Kesthar managed, his translator struggling with human phonetics. We have limited time. Younglings in stasis, adults suffering. We know. We see your telemetry. A pause. Kesthar, right? That's your name? Yes. Kesthar, I need you to listen to me. Move everyone to the central cavern. Share heat. Ration oxygen. Keep those younglings safe. We will get to you. Every single one of you. That's a promise. The channel closed. Vrel turned to him, antennae quivering. A promise? They don't even know us. No, Kesthar said softly, but they're coming anyway. 5 hours and 47 minutes later, the sensors screamed, Contact! The technician called out. Vessel entering sensor range. Hope surged through the cavern. Colonists stirred. Younglings chirped softly in their chambers. Rescue. Finally, rescue. Kesthar pulled up the tactical display, expecting to see a transport shuttle, maybe a small rescue frigate. The Galactic Council standard. Efficient, minimal, designed for evacuations. What appeared on his screen made his blood run cold. By the first crystal, Vrel whispered. The Nightingale was massive, not a rescue ship, not a transport, a warship. The hull was scarred and angular, painted in predator colors, gray and black with red markings. Rail cannons ran along the spine like vertebrae. Missile arrays clustered at the flanks. Plasma batteries glowed with barely contained energy. Point-defense lasers tracked invisible targets with mechanical precision. It looked like something built to crack planets. Panic rippled through the colonists. Parents pulled younglings closer. Warriors reached instinctively for mining tools that might serve as weapons. They sent a weapon, someone chittered. Not rescuers, a weapon. Kesethar stared at the display, his mind racing. Why would humans send a warship? Were they here to help? Or was this something else? Some dark human calculation he couldn't fathom? The console chimed. Hailing frequency. He accepted it with a trembling claw. Commander Cross's face appeared. A predator's face, yes, but tired. Kind. Her eyes carried weight he recognized. The weight of responsibility. Of command. Of caring too much. Vareth 9, this is the Nightingale. We're here to get you out. But Kesethar looked at the weapons display. Commander, you sent... Why did you send a warship? Elena Cross's expression softened. Behind her, he could see crew moving with purpose, medics, engineers, soldiers in white armor marked with red crosses. Because this ship isn't here to fight. Administrator, her voice carried absolute conviction. It's here to save you, and nothing in this void will stop us. Kesethar stared at the screen, at the weapons that bristled like quills, at the commander who smiled like someone who meant every word. Hold tight, Cross said. We're coming in, the channel closed. The warship descended toward the dying colony like a falling star wrapped in thunder. And for the first time in hours, Kesethar felt something impossible stir in his chest. Hope. The Nightingale didn't dock. It couldn't. Vareth 9's structure was too unstable, the docking ports twisted and frozen. Instead, the warship held position 300 meters above the colony, its bulk blotting out the stars. Kesethar watched through the viewport as the ventral bays opened, not to fire weapons, to launch pods. Dozens of them, small and swift, painted white with red symbols. They descended like seeds falling from a metal tree, their retro thrusters carving bright lines through the darkness. The first pod touched down in the central cavern with a pneumatic hiss. The hatch opened and Kestar's warriors tensed, ready for soldiers, for invasion. What emerged was something else entirely. A human stepped out, smaller than expected, wrapped in bulky white armor marked with a red cross. The helmet retracted, revealing a dark-skinned face with gentle eyes. Female, Kesethar thought, though human gender markers confused him. Hey there, she said softly, her voice amplified by the suit's speakers. I'm Cortman Rodriguez. Let's get you folks warmed up. She carried no weapons, just medical equipment and thermal blankets that seemed impossibly thin, but radiated heat like captured sunlight. Behind her, more humans emerged from other pods. Medics, engineers, all moving with practiced efficiency. One knelt beside a Tharxian elder who'd collapsed from cold. The human's hands, unarmored now, bare and vulnerable, worked quickly, wrapping the elder in blankets, attaching oxygen feeds, murmuring words that didn't need translation. You're okay. I've got you. You're safe now. Vrel clutched Kesethar's arm. They're helping. Yes, he breathed. They are. Outside, the Nightingale became something impossible. The rail cannons, designed to punch through armor at relativistic speeds, rotated and fired, but not projectiles, tether lines carrying magnetic anchors that slammed into the colony's collapsing sections. The ship's positioning thrusters fired in precise bursts, using its mass and power to literally hold the structure together. The missile tubes opened, and Kessethar's heart lurched, but what launched weren't warheads. Emergency supply canisters arced down, landing with precision throughout the colony. Oxygen tanks, power cells, medical supplies, food that smelled strange but radiated warmth. A human engineer, Okafor, his suit proclaimed, approached Kesthar. Administrator, we need access to Section 7. Your younglings are there, right? Yes, but Kesethar pulled up a schematic. The passage collapsed. There's no way through without days of excavation. Okafor studied the hologram, then smiled, a human expression that showed teeth but somehow conveyed confidence, not threat. We'll make a way. He returned to his team. They assembled what looked like a massive rifle, except the barrel glowed with contained plasma. A cutting torch, military grade, stand back, Okafor called. The plasma beam lanced through, collapsed. Rock and twisted metal like a knife through morning. Frost. Precise. Controlled. What would have taken the colony days took. The humans 17 minutes. The path to Section 7 opened. Inside the youngling's chamber, Corpseman Rodriguez moved like she'd done this 1,000 times. Maybe she had. She checked each crystal cocoon, calibrating temperatures, ensuring the hibernation systems held. Her fingers moved with surgical precision. A small Tharxian youngling, no bigger than a human hand, stirred in its cocoon, chittering weakly. Rodriguez lifted it with impossible gentleness, cradling it against her chest where her suit radiated warmth. "Shh, little one. You're safe. I promise." The youngling's antennae brushed her chin. She smiled. And Kesithar, watching from the doorway, felt something shift in his understanding of the universe. These were predators, apex hunters from a death world, but they touched his people's children like they were made of starlight. The crisis came suddenly. Section 7 structural integrity failing. A technician screamed. Complete collapse in 90 seconds. 200 colonists were still inside. The evacuation was incomplete. Galactic protocol was clear. Withdraw available personnel, seal the section, minimize casualties. It was logical, practical, necessary. Commander Cross's voice cut through every channel like a blade. Negative. All teams hold position, we go in. Nobody gets left behind. From orbit, the Nightingale's tractor beams, designed to capture enemy vessels, to tear ships from the void, locked onto Section 7, the ship's reactor, screamed as it poured power into holding millions of tons of rock and metal together through sheer force. Structural. Integrity at 18%, someone called. 15. 12. The last evacuation pod launched. Kesithar counted bodies through his scanner, his heart's hammering. 198. 199. 847. Rodriguez's voice came through breathless. That's everyone. All souls accounted for. Nightingale, release and ascend. Cross commanded. The tractor beams disengaged. Section 7 collapsed inward with a sound like worlds ending. But the pods were clear, racing toward the ship. Carrying every single colonist, 100% survival rate, impossible. But human. Aboard the Nightingale, wrapped in thermal blankets, drinking hot liquids that tasted of strange spices, the Tharxian colonists sat in the medical bay. Around them, human crew members worked, smiled, occasionally knelt to comfort a frightened youngling. Kesithar found Commander Cross on the observation deck, staring out at Vareth 9's ruined silhouette. "Why?" he asked simply. "You risked your ship, your crew." "We're strangers," Cross turned. Her eyes were tired but clear. "Because you needed help. Because we could provide it. Because—" She gestured to the view screen showing rescued families embracing. "Because that's what this ship was truly built for. But the weapons can save lives in the right hands." Cross smiled. "Every system has two purposes, Administrator. Rail cannons stabilize structures. Missile tubes deliver supplies. Plasma batteries cut paths to trapped people. We don't build warships despite our compassion. We build them because of it." Kesthar's antennae quivered as understanding bloomed. "You weaponize mercy." "We protect what matters." Cross placed a hand on his shoulder. A human gesture he was learning meant trust. "In our language we have a phrase, peace through strength, but it's incomplete. The real phrase is peace through strength wielded with compassion." Below them, a human child offered a piece of candy to a Tharxian youngling. The youngling chittered happily and the human laughed. "The galaxy fears our weapons," Kesithar said quietly. "They should fear our compassion more," Cross replied. "It makes us unstoppable." Epilogue, Galactic Council Database Update, Species. File, Humanity Classification, Category 4 Hazard, Warning. Threat level applies to anyone who threatens the innocent. Addendum. Human vessels may appear as warships. Do not be deceived. They are rescue ships with teeth, hospital ships with cannons. Humans have weaponized mercy itself. Recommendation. If humans offer help, accept it. If humans offer friendship, treasure it. If humans decide you need saving, nothing in the void will stop them. Unpredictability factor. Maximum threat assessment to allied species. Zero threat assessment to those who harm allied species. Absolute, in the cold void of space. The Tharxians learned the truth about humanity. They don't send help. They send hope, armed, armored, and utterly unstoppable. and in the hands of humans, every weapon becomes an instrument of mercy.